Yes, but what I was trying to get at is for the $3 million surplus we're trying to generate over and above the million we need just for cash alone, 15 cents on the dollar, so 85 cents on the dollar is going to run the utility. Straight out, in a very quick, very basic way to look at it.
I did not separate, when I did the rate increases, I wanted to give the council, we could have done, I gave you 4 alternatives, I could have given you 5 or 6. I run this electric utility from one perspective, period. What is the surplus that we're going to generate? What is the surplus historically that we are transferring? What is the surplus that we're comfortable with transferring to the municipal budget to reduce property taxes? And that's the way we've been looking at it. I never ever had to, up until this year, look at it from a cash flow point of view because of the contracts that we had and the advantage that we had versus PSC and JCP&L. So we had piles of flexibility with the way we ran it.
What I'm trying to translate for the taxpayers out there, because someone would jump up and say, I'd rather pay the extra in property tax, at least I can deduct that. Of course, their property taxes are set, they can't turn down switches and slow down their property taxes. But if we didn't want to generate any surplus to go offset property taxes, it's only 15 cents of every dollar they would save. And it's even less than that because of the nonprofits that are putting in there, including one of our largest electric customers, that the benefit they're getting by the fact that the electric utility generates a surplus is worth the extra 15 cents.
Let me quantify it another way.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me quantify it another way. Our tax levy, Mayor, in 2009, the total appropriations to run the municipality, including the reserve for uncollected taxes, was 25 million round numbers. 25 million and change. The total revenue budgets of all the non-taxable municipal sources, the electric utility surplus, the municipal surplus transfers, the state aid was in excess of $13 million. So we only taxed for 12 million. Only taxed for 12 million. If we were to not transfer anything to the electric utility, a $3 million shortfall is a 25% increase in taxes immediately.
That's a much better way to explain it.
Okay? Immediately.
Well,
okay?
and let me just put it in a little different terms. If you're projecting or trying to promote a $3 million surplus, would you get a $249,000 surprise each month from Constellation's congestion and whatever else they add on top? That $3 million is going in 1 year. You don't have it to pay the bills. You're not projecting to even pay the bills, to even build a surplus.
Correct. The $60,000 increase, essentially, in the cost of demand that we did not plan for is worth $720,000 of surplus right out the window.
Right out the window. And it can only go higher.
Robert, based on the numbers that we talked about 2 weeks ago, what kind of surplus are we looking at the end of this year? Could you say that?
I'd say between $3 and $3.5 million.
Give or
have
take.
to give you ranges on these.
No.
There's too much.
And what was the surplus that we took out last year?
$3,450,000.
So based on the increase of the rate and the assumption that we get some kind of usage here, you're going to be short already.
Yes, I've
Am I-
put
am
that
I-
in writing several times
right?
to you.
Right.
We're going to end the year with $2.6
No.
million, $2,600,000. I'm going to recommend a transfer $2,350,000,
Right.
which is $1.1 million below last year.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
this, I just got to, am I right for just, not holding you to numbers, but you're saying to run the town of Madison is $25 million? Am I
Yes.
right? Okay. Am I right for saying that out of that $25 million, that $15 million of it goes to salaries, pensions, and benefits and stuff? Am I around that number?
Well, $10 million in salaries. Pensions will be this year probably $1.3 million. Health insurance. So the health insurance is split into four different areas: the library, water utility, electric utility, and municipal. The municipal budget, I think, for health insurance is about no, probably over $2 million.
So roughly.
Yeah.
Roughly around $15 million. All right.
Yeah,
You know, we keep talking about, what we have to do is, in other words, the way you're making it sound is that this town is in trouble down the road if things don't change. In other words, my overhead is the key. In other words, if we start, with the consultants and all these, I don't know, in other words, we got to watch our overhead. Am I right for saying that's the only way we can maybe put this thing in the right perspective? We keep talking about making money, but we got to stop spending the money, maybe.
well, there were some significant spending reductions made last year. Some very, very significant spending reductions,
So-
and they are going to flow right into 2010 as well, as savings to the taxpayers.
So we got to really tighten up our belts on the.
These numbers are extremely, extremely, extremely large. We've got $1.8 million that we're not coming back, and we're not going to you're not going to see cost reductions in that magnitude.
So our spending got really out of hand, and that's the way I see it.
I can't make that
No.
call, okay?
Did we not cut? We cut.
It's also, some of these things are mandated, some things are by contract. You're looking at possibly no state aid or minimal state aid, so there's another cost factor we're even talking about. That's something we can't control. It again goes back to, we're talking about just running the electric utility itself. We have been taking from the surplus, not just for reduction of property, but also to keep the rate shock down to our ratepayers.
Yes.
And we could have done like Park Ridge and gave 108% increase or whatever it was right off the bat.
For the benefit of the public, the municipalities such as Seaside Heights, Lavalette, Park Ridge in Bergen County, Pemberton, in the year 2007, when we signed the Detroit Edison contract, Ray, you were there? At the end of 2007, several of those municipalities put rate increases of between 60 and 95%. The council chose not to. The council chose to use the surpluses that we're intentionally building up during the last 2 years of the PSE&G contract. So we ended 2007 with $9 million in electric utility surplus. In 2007, only put a 9% rate increase, even though we knew that our cost of purchase power was essentially going to increase anywhere from 90 to 100% depending upon usage. So that we used the surplus as a subsidy to not give rate shock to our taxpayers, and that's why the surplus ended up at $4.5 million at the end of 2008. So we went from 9 to 4.5 in 1 year. My recommendation to the council in 2008 was for a 38% rate increase. The council did not wish to give that shock to the ratepayers, and the rate increase was 24.5%.